You're crouched by a fire. Your hands are covered in a pale, gritty dust, ground from wild grass seeds you spent half the morning collecting. Your stomach has been empty for hours, and the meat you were hoping to catch never showed up. So you're left with this instead: a small pile of crushed grain and a flat stone worn smooth from years of use. You mix the dust with a little water. It turns into a thick, sticky paste. You have no idea what you're making. You've never seen anything like it before because nothing like it has ever existed. Almost without thinking, you press the paste flat and set it near the edge of the fire, just close enough to feel the heat. You have no word for what happens next, no memory of anything similar. But you wait anyway because you're hungry, and this is all you have. So what actually happened the first time a human made bread? Let's find out. For most of human history, our diet looked nothing like it does today. Meat, roots, tough leaves, whatever fruit happened to be in season. Grains existed all around early humans, but eating them raw was hard, unpleasant, and gave almost no usable energy back for the effort involved. That's the part most people get wrong about the invention of bread. For decades, archaeologists assumed baking began only after humans settled down and started farming, somewhere around 10,000 years ago. It made sense on paper. Farming meant fields of grain, and fields of grain meant flour, and flour meant bread. Except that's not what the evidence actually shows. In 2018, researchers excavating a site called Shubaika 1 in the Black Desert of northeastern Jordan uncovered something that didn't fit the timeline at all. Inside two ancient stone fireplaces, they found dozens of tiny charred crumbs, the burnt leftovers of something baked over a fire. When they analyzed those crumbs closely, the structure matched flatbread almost exactly, the same kind of texture you'd find in unleavened bread made thousands of years later. The fireplaces were dated to roughly 14,400 years old. That's over 4,000 years before agriculture even existed. In other words, humans were baking bread before they ever planted a single seed on purpose. The people responsible were a group called the Natufians, hunter-gatherers who lived across the eastern Mediterranean during a period when the climate was shifting and food sources were becoming less predictable. They hadn't domesticated wheat yet. They were still gathering wild einkorn, wild barley, and the tubers of a marsh plant called club rush, exactly the way their ancestors always had. So picture it. A small group sitting around a stone fireplace, grinding handfuls of wild grain between two flat rocks, turning something tough and inedible into a fine, pale powder. This wasn't a quick process. Grinding enough grain by hand to make even a small amount of flour could take hours of repetitive, exhausting work. Anthropologists studying the residue found something else worth noting. The grain wasn't just crushed and eaten as is. It had been ground, sieved, and kneaded. A series of deliberate steps, not an accident. That detail matters more than it might seem. Sieving means someone was separating fine flour from coarse husks on purpose. Kneading means someone had already discovered that adding water and working the mixture changed its texture into something usable. This wasn't a single lucky moment. It was a process, refined slowly, likely over many failed attempts long before that particular batch was ever pressed flat and set near the fire. The grinding stones themselves tell part of this story too. Flat stone slabs, later called querns, show clear wear patterns from repeated back-and-forth grinding motions, the kind that only develop after hundreds, maybe thousands of uses. This wasn't a tool someone picked up once and abandoned. It was part of a daily routine, passed down and reused across an entire community. Grinding grain by hand is punishing work. Modern experimental archaeologists who've tried recreating the process report that producing even a single small handful of usable flour can take well over an hour of continuous effort, kneeling over a stone, pushing a smaller handheld rock back and forth again and again. For a hunter-gatherer group already spending most of their day searching for food, dedicating that much time to processing grain into flour wasn't a casual decision. It meant someone believed the result would be worth the effort, long before they had any guarantee that it actually would be. Now imagine the very first time it actually worked. The dough goes onto a hot stone or directly near open flame. At first, nothing seems different. Then the edges start to firm up. The pale, wet paste begins to change color, browning slightly, the smell shifting into something warm and completely unfamiliar. Cognitive scientists studying novel sensory experiences describe a very specific pattern in situations like this. Confusion comes first, because nothing in memory matches what's happening. Attention sharpens next, because the brain treats unexplained transformations as something worth watching closely. And only once it's clear nothing dangerous is happening does curiosity fully take over. So someone reaches toward the fire, hesitant, and pulls the flat, hardened shape free. It's warm. It holds its shape. And when they break off a piece and put it in their mouth, they taste something that they've never experienced from grain before. A texture that isn't gritty or tough, but soft, filling, and satisfying in a way raw seeds never were. That single successful attempt would have mattered enormously. Unlike raw grain, this new food was easier to chew, easier to digest, and delivered far more usable energy for the same amount of effort. In a world where every calorie mattered, that difference was massive. Archaeologists believe this connects to something even bigger. The same researchers who identified the Jordan flatbread suggested that the effort required to process wild grain into something edible, grinding, sieving, kneading, baking, may have been one of the pressures that pushed hunter-gatherers toward deliberately growing their own grain instead of constantly searching for it in the wild. In other words, bread didn't just come after farming. Bread may have helped cause farming. That idea flips the old assumption completely. Instead of agriculture leading to bread, the demand for more bread may have helped lead humans toward agriculture in the first place. Once that shift happened, the process only accelerated. As wild grains were slowly domesticated over the following thousands of years, yields increased, grinding tools became more specialized, and bread stopped being a rare, labor-intensive treat and started becoming a staple. By the time later Neolithic and Bronze Age societies were flourishing in the region, flatbreads almost identical in structure to that 14,000-year-old sample were being made across Europe and Turkey, a direct continuation of a technique invented long before anyone had a word for farming. There's something worth noting about how this food would have been shared too. Unlike a piece of meat from a fresh kill, a single batch of flatbread could be broken apart easily, divided evenly among several people without a fight over which portion was biggest or fattiest. It's a small detail, but it hints at a food that may have reshaped not just diets, but the way a group ate together around a fire. There's a quieter part of this story too, one that isn't just about survival. That first successful piece of bread wasn't only food. It was proof that raw, difficult ingredients could be transformed into something completely different through deliberate, repeated effort. That kind of thinking, taking something inedible and reshaping it step by step into something better, echoes through nearly every major human invention that followed. Fermentation, pottery, metalworking, all of it relies on the same basic idea those early bakers stumbled into by a fireplace in the Black Desert. It's worth remembering that none of this happened because someone set out to invent bread. There was no plan, no goal written down, no understanding of chemistry or heat transfer. There was only hunger, a pile of ground seeds, a bit of water, and a fire that happened to be nearby. So the story isn't simply that humans got hungry and got lucky, it's that a group of hunter-gatherers without any concept of farming, agriculture, or even permanent settlements worked out an entire multi-step process through patience and repetition, refining it long before anyone assumed something like bread could exist. This is, in many ways, a story about how necessity quietly rewired human behavior. We weren't handed easy food. What we had was the ability to take something difficult, grind it down, transform it with heat, and turn it into something the body could actually use. Today, bread sits on kitchen counters and store shelves everywhere, something bought in seconds and eaten without a second thought. But the very first time a human pulled a warm, flattened piece of dough off a fire, it represented thousands of years of accumulated trial and error, condensed into one small, satisfying bite. And somewhere in the Black Desert, more than 14,000 years ago, a small group of hunter-gatherers did what humans have always done best. They experimented, they refined, and eventually, without realizing it, they invented one of the most important foods in human history.